Our next speaker is the Group Chief Executive Officer of GraceKennedy Limited, Mr. Don Webby. Mr. Webby was appointed Group Chief Executive Officer of GraceKennedy Limited, and prior to that appointment, he held the position of Group Chief Operating Officer. And so his very, very illustrious and esteemed resume is in our package. But I thought it was important of note to mention that in April 2013, and this is for all you cricket fans, Mr. Webby was appointed a director of the West Indies Cricket Board, WICB, and he was also appointed at that chairman of the newly created Audit, Risk and Compliance Committee. So, you know, when we talk about Caribbean people, cricket is our #1 sport, so this is a big deal. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Don Webby, CEO of GraceKennedy Group and the leader of one of our two community partners, GraceKennedy.
Thank you so much, Madam MC, for that warm welcome. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I think Michelle did such a good job in terms of introductions. I can say all protocols observed. So thank you very much. I'm a proud West Indian. I'm a proud member of the cricket board. I just think we need to start winning again. I share a joke, it's not on my resume here, but I was actually asked by the Prime Minister of Jamaica a few years ago to be a senator and to be a minister in the Ministry of Finance. And I decided that I would go and do national service. And I remember a few days after it was announced, I was in the pharmacy in Stony Hill, minding my own business, buying my chocolate with my young daughter. And in the background, I heard somebody saying like, Senator, Senator, but I could relate to it. So the person came and touched me and said, you joined government and you're not deaf already. Well, that was my introduction to government. That's why I stay up only 2 years. Thank you very much. And thank all of you for coming out. I really appreciate it. You know, every time I'm on one of these road shows or town hall meetings, I feel so proud, and today is really a happy feeling for me, where I have been meeting a number of Caribbean and Jamaican people who are operating at the world's best on the world stage, and it really makes me feel proud. It actually makes me feel very motivated. You know, I see my good friend Lowell Hawthorne there, who is really an icon in terms of entrepreneurship. Welcome, Lowell, and there are others. Let me also welcome. Should I tell them Claudette, my girlfriend Claudette? One of the champions in terms of the nurses. Big up the nurses again, as we say. And also the teachers. I have met quite a few teachers in the educational system here from Jamaica, and I share with you, I hold teachers very dear to my heart. My mother was a teacher for over 40 years in the high school system in Jamaica, and teachers are very, very special to me. Let me start off by speaking a little bit about GraceKennedy. As you had heard before, we were formed in 1922, and we are proud to be celebrating our 92nd birthday this year. February 14th, for those lovers out there, you'll see that we're born on Valentine's Day. So we bring a lot of love and care. Not only corned beef and mackerel, love and care. We have evolved into a publicly listed company on the Jamaica and Trinidad Stock Exchange. Currently now, we have about 7,500 shareholders, and guess what? About 400 or 500 are actually resident in the United States of America, so we thank you for that. The company has evolved into a US 700 million company revenue, and we now have 50 associated companies throughout the world. And our latest foray is in Africa. My medium to long-term objective is that I want GraceKennedy to be listed on the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange, and the first company. We are divided into two divisions: the food division, which most of you know, the good food people, and the financial services division. quite a few of you actually said to me today that they did not know GraceKennedy was actually in financial services. But we are, and we have been for quite a while. We saw significant growth in the 90s and the 2000s in terms of growing our financial service division. So we have our own commercial bank, First Global Bank. Paul Barkley is here and she'll give you an update on First Global Bank. I think it's the best bank in the world. You can judge for yourself. We have our own insurance company, Jamaica International Insurance Company, and our own brokerage company, Allied Insurance Company. And we have been partners with Western Union for the last 23 years. With Western Union providing remittance services. And I'd like to really acknowledge Sean, Joe, Andre, and our partners at Theomatics. Thank you so much for your support over the years. We really appreciate it. You know, I have been asked, and you heard that I was appointed the group CEO in July of 2011. And I've been asked in a number of ways by the brokers, by the shareholders, why has GraceKennedy been such a successful company over the years? And it's something that I've thought about long and hard of how to answer that question. Typically, if you're speaking to your shareholders or the investment community in Jamaica, you tend to speak about your balance sheet and your P&L and your good performance. But one of the things that I'd say to you this evening is that our staff has played a great role in terms of the success of GraceKennedy. And while they're not on our balance sheet, so to speak, they are the greatest asset that GraceKennedy has as we speak, our staff. And I say that with all sincerity. We could speak about the sustainable growth and innovation of GraceKennedy, and there's a particular strategy that we use, and I want to share today with my colleagues and friends in the diaspora in New York, because it's not only GraceKennedy, it's about Jamaica. We have our 3-ounce sauce and our hot pepper sauce, which is doing very well. You'll see it in Walmart and Publix and ShopRite. And at one stage in Jamaica, we actually ran out of pepper mash. That's the ingredient that you use to make the sauce. And we were actually importing the pepper sauce from Costa Rica. You know, I said to myself that is not right. We have so much arable land in Jamaica, and we need to be producing our own pepper mash. So what we did, we entered into a joint venture partnership with our farmers in St. Elizabeth, Hounslow, and we said to them that, listen, you produce all the pepper, and we'll buy all the pepper from you. And to cut a very long story short, it has been such a tremendous success that I'm so proud of it today. This is where we are now. We're not importing pepper mash. We are now using our own pepper from St. Elizabeth in Jamaica. But here it is. We are now exporting the pepper mash to England, the USA, and St. Lucia, in Jamaica from foreign exchange. Why are we so successful at innovation? I could speak about Africa, where today, GraceKennedy, we have made our foray into Africa, into Ghana, and our sales in terms of our tropical rhythms and our malt and the Grace Jamaican ginger beer is doing so well that we actually started our own distribution company in Ghana, and our revenues are actually growing 90% per annum in Ghana. Our tropical rhythms, which is produced in Jamaica, is now being shipped to Ghana. And as Jamaicans would say, it's sell off. It's selling tropical rhythms like it's going out of style in Ghana. I could speak about our Western Union partnership, that we are teaming up in a joint venture partnership with Western Union. And we now have over 200 distribution points throughout the Caribbean, in Jamaica, Guyana, Trinidad, and along the Eastern Caribbean. And all of what I've said is true, in terms of strategy, being very focused, being financially prudent, being very consumer-centric. All of that is very true, being operationally efficient. But in my quiet moments, this is the real reason why we have been very successful. And you heard from Michelle. We have made a decision at GraceKennedy very long ago. In fact, the late great Carlton Alexander, I don't remember if you remember that name, once said something and it has resonated with me. He said, what is good for Jamaica is good for GraceKennedy. And I'd probably extend that to say what is good for the Caribbean is good for GraceKennedy. And we have made a decision that we're going to invest, we're going to give back. The MBAs of today call it corporate social responsibility. We've been doing it for a very long time. We're going to give back to our country. And we're going to give back in the form of education, youth, as our primary objective. So in 1979, that's over 35 years ago, we formed Grace and Staff, and Jimmy Solomon is the director of the company. And how we structured it is that for every dollar that the staff gives, the company matches it 2 to 1. And I'm very, very happy to see that today, as we stand here, GraceKennedy is sending over 400 children from the inner city to high school and to university. We now have 5 homework centers fully equipped with a computer lab. And I give you some specific examples. I give you the example of a young gentleman by the name of Kenmore Smith from the inner city. He has just successfully completed his bachelor's in engineering at Kettering University and is now being offered numerous scholarships to do his master's. Wow. I offer you the example of Union Graham, who scored nearly a perfect 2,400 on her GSAT and is being heavily recruited by all the Ivy League universities in the United States of America. I offer the example of Latoya Richards, who is now a senior economist with the Ministry of Finance. And you know what this is saying to me personally, and I'll share it with you, that once, Jamaica is a great country, and once our children are given the opportunity of education, is going to change Jamaica and possibly the world. Yes. And that is what GraceKennedy is about, trying to help, to assist in any way we can in terms of maximizing the potential of these children in the inner city. And we are sending 400 to school as we speak. I'm very, very proud of that. You know, one of my heroes of my life is Nelson Mandela. He's my hero. And you know, he made a comment, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Change the world, education. And that's why when we look at this forum and the distinguished speakers, you know, it's really heartwarming. GraceKennedy Foundation will have 2 chairs. We're giving back to the environment through Professor Dale Webby. And that is also working very well. First Global Bank, and this is an interesting one. There's an hypothesis that if you teach music in school, the grades of the children will increase, or will improve, I should say. And we did it. We donated some equipment to, I think it's 4 basic schools, Paula. And when you look at the grades of these children, moving from 40% up to 90%, you know, it's a very great feeling, you know, that we are able to assist children through music to improve their education. Another area that we're involved in, as most of you know, I saw quite a few at Pen Relays last week or the week before, is the area of sports. We sponsor Boys and Girls Championship. It's quite a large investment in Jamaica. And you know, sometimes I would see some of our investors, some of our shareholders, or the media in Jamaica, and they said, you know, you're spending $600,000 US on an event for 3 days. That's a lot of money. And my response is very, very simple. I don't consider it an expense. I consider it an investment in the youth of Jamaica, in the schools of Jamaica, and our own country, Jamaica. And I'm proud to say that we are sponsoring it. And if you look at the product, let's think about the dividends of sponsoring Girls and Boys Championship. We have Usain Bolt. We have Shelly Ann Fraser, who you know is the brand ambassador for the GraceKennedy Group. And we just signed on Herschel Parchment, one of the leading hurdlers. And if you asked the question of how can Shannon run so fast? My response here is very, very clear. She loves Grace being a sausage. And for the record, we also sponsor the cricket competition in Jamaica for the high school. And we're going to be looking very closely. We have started to work in Guyana and in Trinidad to also contribute to education and sports in those two islands, and then we move to the rest of the Caribbean. You know, probably have heard me speak about GraceKennedy being a global consumer group. We have revenue of about just under 40% all over the world. And when you look at the revenue flow for GraceKennedy, I really have to thank all of you. The Jamaican diaspora and now the Caribbean diaspora has been the foundation for GraceKennedy's expansion in this part of the world. And I would like to say to all of you a sincere thank you. Without you, our vision and our goal could not be accomplished. And there's a long way to go. We have a lot of ambitious targets. There's a long way to go, and I will continue to ask for the support of the diaspora, including our Western Union business all throughout the world. We have another exciting announcement. A few years ago, I'm not sure how many of you recall the Birthright program. Anybody remember the Birthright program? Really what the Birthright program is that we have a 1-month internship program for first and second generation Jamaican university students. So for them to come to Jamaica, they work with GraceKennedy, they understand the culture, learn a little bit of dancehall, maybe a little patois. But it's something that we're going to be, let's say, restarting in 2015. And I think in terms of that bond with the diaspora, I think that's going to be a positive move by bringing first and second generation into Jamaica to spend some time with the GraceKennedy family and learn the culture, and of course eat some good ackee and saltfish and food and that kind of thing. You know, I was asked by my colleague, Noel Green, and I heard the response of Trinidad. I saw a lady from Guyana being very proud of Guyana and of Trinidad. And I want to say this with all sincerity in terms of the Caribbean. As you heard, I'm a member of the West Indies Cricket Board, and I consider myself a national of the Caribbean. And we may be different in a number of ways in terms of cultural norms. Trinidad like the soca, Jamaica like the reggae, ackee and saltfish. Michelle introduced it to it. I hear Guyana is pepper pot soup. Yes. I need to try that pepper pot soup. And the Korean callaloo from Trinidad. And there are a lot of tensions at times. I'm sure you read it in the press. But one of the things that I would say, the things that divide us, there are more that unite us. Amen. As a Caribbean country. You know, there's an American author by the name of Helen Keller. I read it when I was a youngster, and I say to all of us as a Caribbean family tonight in New York. She said, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. I want to repeat that. It's a very strong statement. Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. And I want to say to you tonight that as a Caribbean country, we need to take that very seriously. And as the great Bob Marley said, let's move forward with one love, one heart, and we feel all right. Amen. It's a profound statement.
Amen. Yes, yes it is.
So in closing, I would like to say thank you once again, all of you, for attending. We really, really appreciate it. I can see the crowd around here. The place sell out. Where's Garfield? Fantastic job. Garfield. So God bless all of you. Thank you very much again for supporting GraceKennedy. And you know, I have to leave by saying the greatest country in the world, Jamaica.